Well, good morning, lovers of budget cars and bikes. Welcome back to the Blue Tech Mat for another review for this month. Okay, this is the Carabc, the Carabc. I'm not quite sure, I have to say. They haven't told me how to pronounce this. This is the company who've sent it out. It's the DM601 Motorcycle Smart Riding System. They advertise this as an eco box. We save Earth, start with me, act together, yada, 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 yada. But basically this is advertised as eco-friendly packaging. When I first saw this, I thought, well, blimey, they've not spent a lot on packaging, have they? But I think their ethos is, less fancy frilly bits and just, make it more recyclable in that regard. And I appreciate that. Praise to them for that. Now, if you saw the review we did on the Jado motorcycle screen, the riding system there with the TPMS and the cameras and everything else, that is an amazing bit of kit. This I know nothing about until we open the box, but obviously we will pop the specs in down here at some point throughout this video to save me having to waffle on too much, and then you can obviously just pause it, read it through. The specs, as I say, what it's running on, the user interface, the RAM, the memory, all that kind of good stuff. We'll pop it in down here. Now, what's in the box? Well, what's around the box? Pretty much nothing. It rattles a bit, I have to say. So we've got some hardware in there. Carabc, maybe that's how it is. Carabc, which is interesting because it's a motorcycle smart riding system. Okie dokie. I guess the best thing we can do, guys, is open up this box and see exactly what we get inside. And that's pretty much it, guys. We get three little boxes. This seems to be the hardware kit. These will be the wiring bits, I guess, and this will be the screen. There is a little statement in there if you want to pause the video and just read that for yourself. It tells you not to jet wash the screen. Pretty obvious, but there are some daft bastards out there. And then we've got our user manual up here, which is one of these kind of fold away things here, which, it's good enough. Normally these things are pretty intuitive. You just plug it into the 12-volt power, probably the negative, and you're good to go pretty much. Anyway, we will unbox these trio of boxes here and find out exactly what they've sent us. Okay then, in the first box we have the cameras. I didn't even realise it came with cameras. That's kind of cool. Lovely looking connectors there as well. Not your usual kind of just plastic stuff that they send you, which kind of screws in and could quite easily break. These are actually really nice quality. I like that. I appreciate the fact that someone's taken the time to think, okay, well, let's just make this look like it's worth the bloody money. We've got a little Allen key, a couple of extra 3M pads there as well, because obviously you need to stick them on there, or you can screw that into your fairing if you wish. I think most of us will probably use the pads. There are some more screws in here, obviously, to connect it up to other bits and bobs. And we've got a little handlebar bracket here by the looks of things. Let me just open this up a minute, guys. Yeah, there looks to be some kind of mounting hardware here as well. Obviously, that pops out and does that. And these little screws here will be to go through here. And then there's a slightly different way of mounting it there. Unless you use both of these, which I'd be surprised, it will all become very obvious when we get out to the bike and pop it on there. But that is the first box. You get the cameras and some mounting hardware. Okay, let's crack open with the second box. So firstly, in the second box we have got some more kind of hardware for mounting. There's various little plates here, as you can see. If you want to put it on a ball mount here, if you want to just slot it in, there's another one there which looks to be very, very similar to that, if I'm honest, but again, we'll find out soon. There's some spacers there, obviously, for your handlebars, as in if you've got a Tras bike or a bloody great big K1300 BMW, bar sizes are different. And we've got a screwdriver, some more Allen keys, and some more screws. There's just basically a load more hardware in the second box, but we also get the big mounting block, as it were. This will be where you connect everything up. That looks to be a spring-loaded release mechanism there as well. If you look at the little teeth there, that just goes in and out. That's to take off the screen. So it looks like this would be permanently mounted to the handlebars using all the hardware. There's a little GPS tracker there, which has its own little 3M mounting point there. So basically everything is traceable in that regard. And again, these lovely connectors at the top of here. And then we also get the power source. This will go to your battery. I'm imagining that will be an ignition live, that will be an earth, that will be a permanent live. You can sometimes choose if you want an ignition or a permanent. We will find out obviously when we fit this up to the bike. So that's the second box. We've got all the hardware you saw just now, the mounting plate there which attaches to the handlebars, and the power source. And then finally, the third box is going to be the screen, I'm imagining, because if it's not, we've got a problem. Let's get this opened up. And there she is, guys, the star of the show, as it were. That is the screen from the Car ABC, I'm going to call it. I'm not sure if that's the way it's pronounced, but we're going to call it Car ABC. And I believe the model number is a DM601. If I'm wrong, I'll stick it in up here. But that's the screen. There's not really a huge amount to say about it. It's what it is. There's the magnetic kind of connection there for the power source. There seems to be, let me have a little look. Yep, there seems to be a power on and some other button there, which will become obvious as and when we go through all the specs when we wire it up. But that is the screen. I don't imagine there's going to be any power to it because obviously it is a standalone system in the regard that it will, rather it's not a standalone system in the regard that it needs a dedicated power source, which obviously at this point it doesn't have. But I will press the power button just to see if anything happens because I'm a bit nosy like that, but nothing really is going to happen. I think we could all agree with that. Yeah, nothing's happening. Okay, it needs the power source from the 12-volt battery of the bike. So enough waffling. We've seen what comes in the boxes. Now it's time to get this stuff outside to the bike in the rain. Now, nothing. For once, it's not raining, actually. Here in Cornwall, it's been raining for 56 days, non-bloody stop. But finally, we got a break in the weather. So let's get out to the bike. I'm assuming we're going to fit this to the BMW S1000R. We haven't, or we may have done a review on that. I'll stick it in up here if we've done one. And we will connect it all up to there the best way we can, just for demonstration purposes. I'm not going to fit this as a permanent fit because obviously I don't really use these kind of things on my bikes, but I've got a great deal of time for people that do. I see their value. It's an immense value and it's a great add-on to most bikes of a certain age, so I kind of get it. I'm a bit lazy. I tend to just use my phone because I only really use Google Maps, so I don't listen to music, so these kind of things, yeah, I get their need, but they're not in need for me, as it were. So it's time to fit this bad boy, the DM601 from Car ABC. Well, I guess we'll find out. I hope I don't keep saying that wrong. Time to get outside to the forecourt and basically connect all this up to the bike, get the screen up on the mounted bars, as it were, and connect it to the battery. We won't do a permanent fix. We'll just do a demonstration fix with the cameras and everything else, and I'll go through the menus with you guys. We'll find out exactly what this thing does, compare it to the Jadu, which we've done already, which I hope you've seen, and then we'll come back into the garage and I will tell you whether it's better than the Jadu, whether it's better than some of the others we've done, if it's worth buying, the pros, the cons, all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, let's get outside, get this fitted and see exactly what it does. All right then, you lovely lot. It's been a while, I have to say, since we had a look at this Car ABC smart screen for your motorcycle. It's the same situation as we had with the Jado S6, and unfortunately, it's been absolutely bloody torrential rain and horrible cold winter weather here in Cornwall at the start of 2026, and we just literally have not been able to get out onto the bike to finish off this review. The sun's out, that's the good news. The bad news is because of our handlebar situation. Now, I'm going to pop a little clip in here where I explained on the Jado S6 how their bracketry wouldn't allow me to fit their screen onto our current bike's handlebars. I have come across a problem, guys, which I got a feeling there's no solution to, and it's such a bloody shame. I'm trying to fit this because obviously that clamps onto the bar, and then the screens itself, just get over here, that fits onto there, so effectively you would have it on your bars there with that holding everything together. I cannot find a place to put this. I've tried every single one of these spaces that they've given. That's the only one that fits, but I've even moved the clutch fluid reservoir out of the way and I cannot get it in there. The bar then splays out there, so it won't fit down there and it won't fit this side. So if you've got a bike with this kind of configuration handlebar here, I don't know if this is going to work for you. I've even tried to put it on here, but the spaces weren't quite big enough. And if you've got a sports bike, obviously that's not going to work, and it wouldn't even fit as a kind of ram mount down there. So I don't think we're going to be able to fit this to our current bike. Now, bearing in mind, obviously, we do change bikes quite a lot on the channel. When this was sent out, we were going to use the BMW, which would have been fine. We've now got a Z1000 Kawasaki, and as you can probably see from the pictures, there is absolutely no way that these kind of brackets here are going to fit around our bars, and it's certainly not going to fit with this kind of affair here either, which clamps around the bars. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's such a bloody shame because effectively you'd have that connected and then you block that in. That would be what you look at kind of constantly, and you'd slot the screen inside of there. Oh, look, it's my face. And you slot the screen into there, press the big button here, and you take the screen out, which, by the way, is a slightly better affair than the Jado S6, if I'm honest, unless you've got a BMW. But I explained all of that in the Jado S6 review, which I'll link in up here somewhere. Anyway, suffice to say, we can't take the bike out with this unit connected to it on our current bike. That is because that will not fit on our handlebars, and that will not fit on our handlebars. So once again, if you are considering a smart screen for your motorcycle, make sure it's going to fit, because unless you've got a BMW or different bars altogether, the Jado wouldn't fit. And unless you've got, again, different bars, this wouldn't fit to my bike at the moment. It's just one of those things. In a month's time, we might have a different bike and we might revisit this and put in some footage. All I can do for today is show you the menus, the settings, the camera quality, that kind of stuff on the unit, which is, after all, the most important thing. There's nothing else. There's no TPMS sensors, that kind of stuff. We'll just basically take a look through the menus, have a look at the camera quality, as in the front and rear camera quality here, see if it is full high definition as advertised, and go through the menus, connect it up to Bluetooth, have a look at the Android Auto, etc. But unfortunately, I can't show you footage out on the road. But as I said, I guess that's the star of the show in that regard. So let's power this up with a bit of a janky connection to an old motorcycle battery, and we'll go through the menus. So we've got everything set up in a kind of MacGyver style over here, guys. As you can see, we've got the cameras over here. We've got the cradle that would sit onto your handlebars normally. And as you can see, that's not going to fit onto our Z1000, not in a million years. It's just an unfortunate thing. So what we're going to do, as I said, MacGyver style, we're going to connect this up to this little battery over here, my old motorcycle battery, get some power to the unit, and take some footage on the cameras, which should record. I don't know if this comes with an internal SD card. I'm hoping so. There's no mention of it so far, but we'll find out, I guess. So let's power this on, see what happens. And there we are, guys. That is your user interface, your home screen. God, it looks so similar to the Jado, doesn't it? It's almost a mirror image of the Jado, but not quite as premium, I would say. Although, as I said, the menus are very, very similar. You've got your TPMS over there with bar. I'm assuming you can change that. We'll have a little look in a minute. Let me just whip this up here slightly. That's slightly better for me, at least. We're in kilometers an hour at the moment, and yeah, not much else. There's not much of a menu there, is there, really? Let me see what I can find. We'll go into bars here. You can set alerts as well by the looks of things here once you've got your TPMS sensors in. That's an interesting way of spelling tyre there as well. Always a pleasure to see that. You basically bind the TPMS sensors much the same as the Jado. You pop them in to your tyre valve stems and then you pair them with the unit here. They've got a Bluetooth kind of sensor inside and it's just as simple as that. You can change obviously to Fahrenheit, PSI, etc, etc. And then obviously if you want to know if your tyres are going below a certain PSI, then you can set these up here. That's kind of cool. I didn't see that on the Jado, so that's kind of cool. And then you've got a very obvious what's going on here with your PSIs. That's cool. I like that. That's very, very simple. To get into the other menus, effectively you just press that little button down there. That looks to be a security camera, but I'm assuming that means cameras. There we go. What I'll do is I'll take a little bit of footage now with the front camera out in the garden, as we did with the Jado. And it looks like here you've got a picture-in-picture, as it were, so you can see the rear view and the front view. I'll just take a picture with, well, a bit of footage with the front view camera just to check the quality compared to the Jado, and I'll chop that in as a little kind of time-lapse with a bit of music over it. So let's see if these are of any kind of quality. Well, I think you'd have to agree, for a kind of a more budget option, as it were, for your smart screen, that's pretty impressive. I do like that. So on the home screen here, getting back to that, we've now changed it to PSI. We've got a little clock over here, as you can see, the day, the date, the time, connected via internet and via Bluetooth, because we did that previously. So in the middle, you've still got kilometers per hour. I cannot seem to change that. I think we'll have to go into settings perhaps here. language, key volume, format, blah, blah. There we go. Speed unit there. We will change that over there. And then if we go back to the home screen, as you can see, 0 miles per hour. I like that. Nice and clear. No messing about there whatsoever. I don't know why we've got 2 of these down here. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm guessing we can change things around in there. That's just... Okay, so that's wireless CarPlay. We want Android Auto. Is it just? Yes, we will change to Android Auto. Thank you very much. Let's get that active and see what happens. And there we are. As simple as that, guys. You basically connect it up to your Bluetooth. You should know how to do that by now. I'm assuming you pull down your top menu on your phone, have a look at your Bluetooth, long press on that, and then it'll tell you which one to basically connect to. Usual stuff, Android Auto, you've got your Google Maps over here, your music player over here. I'm assuming that will be my phone book in there. As you can see, nothing really for you guys to see there. They've got this ubiquitous little widget thing here, which I've never quite worked out why that's there and what it does. Oh, I see, it gives you another sub-menu. Okay, well, I get it. And obviously, as I said, you've got Google Maps there. Let's get back into there for full screen. Any lag? Yeah, a little bit. No more than the J-Do though. Let's be honest, that's got no more lag than the J-Do had at a much bigger price point. So yeah, you know, you make your own judgment call there. You've got your settings obviously and your voice control and your compass north, south, east, west as you would expect. Voice controls over here, and that is about it, guys. So let's get back out of here. I think if we use the little widget here, we can go back to the home screen. And there we are. That is the menus kind of gone through very, very quickly. I'm really sorry I couldn't actually get out on the bike today, guys. It's just one of those things. These clamps just will not fit my handlebars at the moment. We may revisit this, though. If I can get another bike at some point, which we will do, of course, that's what we do here, I will take us out for a ride and show you some on-the-road footage as well. But for now, just in the back garden, you can see the quality of the footage is incredibly good at this price point. I have to say I'm very impressed. Far better than things like the Lampto, which we reviewed a couple of years ago now. Lots of reports of those failing under load as well. I had a guy who told me he bought one and he went off-road on it and it just stopped working. That was the end of it, basically. So, yeah. Okay, if you're going to buy one of these, get the one you can afford. This, as a budget option, I think is incredibly good value. The J-Do, highly premium, more so for your BMW riders, and I've explained why in that video. But as I said, as a budget option, this CarABC is very, very impressive. I hope you've enjoyed this little review, guys. I hope it's been of some help if you are considering buying one. Link will be in the description with any affiliate links and a discount code. I'm imagining there'll be a Budget Cars and Bikes discount code, and obviously you can use that to get a bit of money off. All right, guys, that's it from us. Sorry it wasn't a more concise on-the-road review. It's just the way it is today, unfortunately. But from Budget Cars and Bikes, that has been the CarABC Smart Screen. Hope it helped. Link in the description with a discount code. So make sure you use that. And we'll catch up in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.